Francisco gets control of the old Hunters Point shipyard. Some of the soil might still contain lingering levels of radiation.
From towering skyscrapers to sprawling infrastructure projects, the world of construction is a testament to human innovation and ambition. But amidst the awe-inspiring achievements lie tales of missteps, oversights, and costly errors. Welcome to our exploration of the 15 biggest construction mistakes in the world. Number 15. Lotus Riverside Complex, a catastrophic collapse. At number 15, we have the tragic story of the Lotus Riverside Complex in Shanghai, China. The Lotus Riverside Complex was a symbol of modern urban development, featuring 11 high-rise apartment buildings designed to accommodate hundreds of families. The complex consisted of 11 13-story buildings and 629 units. But on June 27, 2009, one of these buildings came crashing down, sending shockwaves through the construction industry and raising serious questions about safety standards. In the early morning hours, residents and construction workers were horrified to see Building 7 of the complex topple over completely intact. Remarkably, the structure did not crumble. Instead, it fell over like a toy block, resting on its side in the mud. Thankfully, the incident happened early enough that most residents were not in the building, and there was only one tragic fatality: a worker who was inspecting the site. The primary cause of the collapse was a combination of poor planning and inadequate construction practices. Investigations revealed that the foundation was improperly prepared, exacerbated by the excavation of an underground garage. The soil removed from this excavation was piled up next to the building, creating uneven pressure. This, combined with the heavy rains, weakened the soil underneath, leading to the catastrophic failure. Experts criticized the developers for not adhering to basic engineering principles. Proper foundation support and balanced soil displacement are crucial for maintaining the integrity of tall structures. In this case, the lack of oversight and disregard for safety regulations led to an avoidable disaster. In the aftermath of the collapse, the damaged building was demolished, and the remaining structures were reinforced to prevent similar incidents. The Lotus Riverside Complex now stands as a reminder of the importance of diligence and adherence to safety standards in construction. Number 14. The Intempo Skyscraper, a towering misstep. Coming in at number 14 is the Intempo Skyscraper in Benidorm, Spain. Rising over 650 feet above the coastal town, this eccentric and vaguely M-shaped residential high-rise took nearly 15 years to complete, but its journey was far from smooth. Construction of the Intempo skyscraper began in 2006, with dreams of transforming Benidorm's skyline and offering luxurious living spaces. However, the project quickly became infamous for its series of blunders and delays, turning what was supposed to be a symbol of modernity into a cautionary tale. The most notorious mistake came to light in 2013 when reports revealed a shocking oversight. The original design plans failed to include an elevator system beyond the 20th floor. In a building with 47 floors, this was an almost unimaginable error. This critical error meant that residents in the upper floors would have had to climb over 20 flights of stairs to reach their homes, a glaring flaw for any high-rise, let alone one marketed as a luxury residence. The developers were forced to redesign and retrofit the building to include the necessary elevators, significantly increasing costs and delaying the project even further. Despite the setbacks, the Intempo skyscraper was eventually completed and now stands as one of the tallest residential buildings in Europe. Its striking design and panoramic views of the Mediterranean are undeniable, but the building's troubled history serves as a reminder of the importance of meticulous planning and execution in construction. Number 13. Berlin Aquadome, an aquatic catastrophe. At number 13 on our countdown is the Berlin Aquadome, a magnificent cylindrical aquarium that once captivated visitors with its unique design and marine display. But in December 2022, this marvel turned into a disastrous spectacle. The Aquadome was a central attraction at the Sea Life tourist site in Berlin, housed within the lobby of the Radisson Blu Hotel. Standing at 25 meters tall and holding 1 million liters of water, it was the largest cylindrical aquarium in the world. Visitors could ride an elevator through the middle of the tank, enjoying a 360-degree view of over 1,500 tropical fish. However, in the early hours of December 16, 2022, disaster struck. The Aquadome unexpectedly burst, sending a torrent of water gushing into the hotel lobby and onto the street outside. The force of the collapse was so intense that it caused extensive damage to the building and left a devastating scene in its wake. The collapse of the Aquadome was both sudden and spectacular, leaving authorities and experts baffled. An investigation was launched to determine the cause of the failure, but despite extensive analysis, the expert report was inconclusive. The precise reason why the tank burst remains a mystery. The aftermath of the collapse saw a massive cleanup effort, with workers and emergency responders racing to mitigate the damage. Fortunately, the incident occurred early in the morning when the lobby was relatively empty, and there were no serious injuries reported. However, the loss of marine life was significant and heartbreaking. Number 12. The Leaning Tower of Pisa, an iconic tilt. Next on our list at number 12 is perhaps one of the most famous construction blunders in history, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. This medieval marvel in Pisa, Italy, is renowned worldwide, not for its height or grandeur, but for its unintended tilt. Construction of the tower began in 1173, and it was intended to be a freestanding bell tower for the nearby cathedral. But almost from the start, the project encountered trouble. By the time the builders reached the third story in 1178, the tower began to lean due to the unstable foundation and the soft, shifting subsoil of Pisa. The soft ground couldn't support the tower's weight, and as a result, it began to lean to one side. For centuries, efforts to correct or stabilize the tilt were unsuccessful. By the late 20th century, the tower leaned a dramatic 5.5 degrees, translating to about 15 feet off the perpendicular. Throughout its history, numerous attempts were made to stabilize the tower. Engineers tried everything from counterweights to complex cable systems. Despite these efforts, the tower continued to tilt. And by the 1990s, it was clear that drastic measures were needed to prevent a complete collapse. In 1990, the tower was closed to the public, and a massive restoration project was launched. Engineers removed soil from underneath the higher side of the foundation, which slowly reduced the tilt to a safer angle. After a decade of meticulous work, the tilt was reduced to about 4 degrees, and the tower was reopened to visitors in 2001. Today, the Leaning Tower of Pisa stands as both a beloved tourist attraction and a testament to medieval engineering, flaws and all. Its tilt, once a symbol of failure, has become a defining feature that draws millions of visitors each year. Number 11. Sampoong Department Store, a tragic collapse. At number 11, we travel to Seoul, South Korea, to recount the horrific story of the Sampoong Department Store. This disaster, which unfolded on June 29, 1995, left a devastating mark on the country, resulting in the loss of over 500 lives and injuring more than 930 people. The Sampoong Department Store was a symbol of modern commerce and prosperity in Seoul. With its sleek design and diverse array of shops, it attracted thousands of visitors daily. But beneath its polished surface, the building concealed fatal flaws that would lead to one of the deadliest peacetime disasters in South Korean history. The trouble began during the construction phase. Originally planned as an office building, the Sampung structure underwent significant design changes, transforming it into a department store. These changes included the addition of a fifth floor, which was not part of the original blueprint. Crucially, these modifications were made without adequate reinforcement of the building's structure. In the weeks leading up to the collapse, staff and management noticed cracks forming in the ceiling and walls. Despite these warning signs, the store remained open, and no significant action was taken to address the structural integrity issues. On the fateful day of June 29th, the cracks widened and parts of the ceiling began to fall, causing panic among shoppers. At around 5:57 p.m., the unthinkable happened. The fifth floor gave way, triggering a catastrophic pancake collapse of the entire building. Within seconds, the bustling department store was reduced to rubble, trapping hundreds of people beneath the debris. Rescue operations commenced immediately, but the sheer scale of the disaster made the task incredibly challenging. Rescuers worked tirelessly, often risking their own lives to pull survivors from the wreckage. The final death toll stood at over 500, with more than 930 injured, making it one of the deadliest building collapses in modern history. To ensure that such a catastrophe does not occur again, South Korea enacted stronger building codes and regulations in the wake of the incident. Number 10. The Mississippi River Bridge Collapse, a tragedy in Minneapolis. At number 10, we turn our attention to a tragedy that shook the United States. On August 1st, 2007, the Interstate 35W bridge in Minneapolis, Minnesota, collapsed, sending shockwaves through the nation and raising urgent questions about infrastructure safety. During the height of the rush hour, the 8-lane bridge, which was carrying bumper-to-bumper traffic, suddenly gave way. Cars, trucks, and even a school bus plummeted into the Mississippi River below, crashing onto the rocky shore. In an instant, 13 lives were lost, and 145 people were injured, many of them suffering serious injuries. The collapse was both shocking and devastating, prompting immediate investigations to determine the cause. The National Transportation Safety Board found that the primary culprit was a design flaw. Gusset plates, which are crucial components that connect the steel beams of the bridge, were undersized and unable to support the load. Over time, this flaw, combined with the added weight of construction equipment and materials, led to the catastrophic failure. This tragedy exposed the vulnerabilities in America's infrastructure. Many bridges across the country were built around the same time and using similar designs, sparking a nationwide evaluation of bridge safety. In 2008, a new bridge was constructed to replace the fallen one. The new I-35W bridge is not only stronger and safer, but also equipped with state-of-the-art technology to monitor its structural health in real time. This ensures that any potential issues are detected and addressed long before they pose a danger. Number 9. Falling facade of the Aeon Center, marble misstep. Number 9 on our list brings us to the iconic Chicago skyline and the story of the Aeon Center. At a time when glass and steel were the staples of modern architecture, visionary architect Edward Durrell Stone dared to be different. Stone believed in the timeless elegance of masonry, opting to clad the Aeon Center in luxurious Italian Carrara marble. His aim was to convey a sense of strength and permanence that glass buildings couldn't match. At its completion in 1973, the Aeon Center became the tallest marble-faced building in the world. Stone proudly claimed the material was as cost-effective as crumpled aluminum. If only that were true. But the allure of marble came with a heavy price. By 1974, just a year after its grand opening, disaster struck. A 350-pound slab of marble detached from the 29th floor, crashing onto the Prudential Plaza below. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but this frightening incident exposed a fatal flaw in the building's design. It turned out that the thin marble panels, each only 1.25 inches thick, couldn't withstand Chicago's harsh climate. The repeated cycles of freezing and thawing caused the marble to crack and buckle. Stone's vision of strength and permanence was quite literally falling apart. To address the issue, the entire facade had to be replaced. Between 1990 and 1992, the building underwent a massive and costly renovation. The marble was replaced with Mount Airy white granite, a material better suited to withstand Chicago's climate. The project cost a staggering $80 million, far exceeding any initial savings from using marble. Today, the Aon Center stands as a testament to the importance of choosing the right materials for the right environment. While it remains a striking feature of Chicago's skyline, it's also remembered as one of the city's biggest building blunders. Number 8. San Francisco's radioactive problem. On our list takes us to the scenic shores of San Francisco, where a hidden menace lurks beneath the tranquil surface. Behind a nondescript chain-link fence, nestled amid swaying coastal grasses, lies a troubling legacy of the past. A cache of buried radioactive waste and toxic pesticides from a bygone chemical plant. Picture this: a picturesque landscape marred by the specter of environmental contamination. The area, once home to a bustling chemical plant, now harbors a dark secret beneath its seemingly peaceful facade. What was once an industrial hub has become a ticking time bomb of hazardous materials, waiting to wreak havoc on unsuspecting surroundings. The buried waste, a remnant of reckless industrial practices, poses a grave threat to both human health and the delicate ecosystem of the San Francisco Bay Area. Radioactive elements seep into the soil, poisoning the earth, while toxic pesticides leach into the groundwater, tainting precious resources vital for life. Despite efforts to contain the contamination, the legacy of the past continues to haunt the present, casting a shadow of uncertainty over the future of the region. The chain-link fence serves as a feeble barrier, unable to conceal the magnitude of the environmental catastrophe lying just beneath the surface. Number 7. South Korea's horrible bridge disaster. Now, imagine the hustle and bustle of a busy bridge, cars streaming across, connecting neighborhoods and lives. Now, picture that scene shattered by a catastrophic failure. At number 7, we are going to unfold the story of South Korea's Seongsu Bridge. The Seongsu Bridge disaster of 1994 stands as one of the most shocking structural failures in South Korean history. The bridge, spanning the Han River in Seoul, was a vital link in the city's infrastructure, carrying thousands of vehicles daily. But on October the 21st, 1994, tragedy struck. Without warning, a section of the bridge gave way during rush hour traffic, plunging cars and their occupants into the river below. The devastation was swift and horrific. The exact cause of the collapse was later determined to be a combination of factors, including structural deficiencies and inadequate maintenance. Years of heavy traffic and exposure to the elements had taken their toll on the aging bridge, weakening its supports and compromising its integrity. The Seongsu Bridge tragedy sent shockwaves through South Korea, prompting a nationwide reassessment of infrastructure safety standards. It served as a grim reminder of the consequences of neglecting maintenance and overlooking structural flaws. Number 6. 20 Fenchurch Street. At number 6, now you explore the fateful destruction of 20 Fenchurch Street of London. Designed by Raphael Vinnelli, architects, and completed in 2014, 20 Fenchurch Street was envisioned as a beacon of modernity and energy efficiency. Standing tall in the city of London, this high-rise was supposed to be a shining example of sustainable architecture in a compact urban setting. But, as fate would have it, the walkie-talkie quickly gained notoriety for all the wrong reasons. In 2013, during the building's construction phase, reports started surfacing about an unexpected side effect of its unique curved design. It acted like a giant concave mirror, reflecting and concentrating sunlight onto the streets below. Dubbed the skyscraper, the walkie-talkie's reflective surface caused temperatures to soar, melting cars, blistering paintwork, and even frying eggs on nearby sidewalks. It was like something out of a science fiction movie. But, unfortunately, it was all too real for the people of London. We had to implement a series of measures to mitigate the glare, including installing sunshades and modifying the facade. It was a costly and embarrassing setback for all involved. Despite the initial hiccup, the walkie-talkie has since been modified to reduce its reflective glare, and it continues to stand as a prominent fixture in London's skyline. But its legacy serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of considering all potential consequences in architectural design. Number 5. Stuttgart 21. Let's fast track to Stuttgart, Germany, where the ambitious Stuttgart 21 project rolls in at number 5 on our list of construction mishaps. Originating in 1994, this endeavor aimed to revamp the city's railway infrastructure, promising smoother operations and enhanced connectivity for the bustling metropolis. The concept was bold: replace the aging Stuttgart Hauptbahnhof main station with a modern underground terminal, reconfigure rail lines, and streamline connections to other major European cities. Sounds like a commuter's dream, right? Well, not quite. What started as a vision for progress soon morphed into a saga of controversy and public outcry, and urban planners raised alarm bells over its potential environmental impact, escalating costs, and disruption to the city's historic landscape. Critics argued that the project's environmental assessments were inadequate, pointing to the potential destruction of green spaces and ancient trees in the city center. Moreover, ballooning costs and delays fueled skepticism among taxpayers, who questioned whether the benefits would outweigh the financial burden. As construction progressed, so did the tension. Protests intensified, with activists staging sit-ins and demonstrations to halt the project's momentum. The clash between proponents of progress and defenders of tradition turned Stuttgart 21 into a symbol of civic resistance and grassroots activism. Number 4. Citigroup Center. Forwarding to number 4, the Citigroup Center at New York stands as a testament to architectural innovation, with its distinctive design, including a daring cantilever and a striking sloping crown. This iconic tower commands attention. But behind its impressive facade lies a story of near disaster. The Citigroup Center's most distinctive feature is its cantilever design, supported by 4 massive stilts, perfectly centered on each side. This daring architectural choice allowed the building to extend an impressive 72 feet over the sidewalk, creating a striking visual presence in the heart of Manhattan. But what few knew until 1995 was the grave oversight hidden within the original structure. An oversight that could have resulted in catastrophic consequences. During the building's construction in the 1970s, engineers made a critical error in the design of the foundation. The tower was supposed to rest on a traditional grid of columns, but to accommodate an existing church on the site, the columns were moved to the building's corners, creating an open space in the center. This modification left the building vulnerable to high winds, particularly from perpendicular directions. In fact, if a powerful storm were to hit New York City, the Citigroup Center could have collapsed like a house of cards. Thanks to a daring engineering solution known as Project Serene, the Citigroup Center was reinforced with massive steel braces and tuned mass dampers, ensuring its stability even in the face of powerful winds. Number 3. Jeddah Tower. Number 3 is about the unfinished story of Jeddah Tower. For over 15 years, the Jeddah Tower has been a work in progress, with construction periodically halting due to various setbacks. One of the most significant obstacles came in the form of a corruption purge by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Amidst political upheaval, the project was put on indefinite hold, casting doubt on its future and leaving investors and developers in limbo. The development halt was further compounded by labor disputes with a contractor, stemming from the turbulent aftermath of the Saudi Arabian purge. These challenges not only delayed construction, but also raised concerns about the tower's viability and safety standards. Despite the hurdles, there's hope on the horizon. Construction on the Jeddah Tower has been resumed in 2023, signaling a renewed commitment to seeing this architectural marvel through to completion. Number 2. Berlin-Brandenburg Airport. Number 2 is about Berlin-Brandenburg Airport. It was supposed to be a beacon of modernity for the German capital, but became a symbol of bureaucratic bungling and engineering incompetence. Conceived in the heady days of reunification, the Berlin-Brandenburg Airport project dragged on for a staggering 3 decades. 7 missed opening dates punctuated the ordeal, each one more embarrassing than the last. But it was the fateful June 3rd, 2012, that etched itself into the public consciousness. With great fanfare, Berliners anticipated the grand unveiling of their gleaming new airport. Instead, they encountered a litany of horrors, including faulty fire safety systems, crooked automatic doors, and roofs that were about to collapse. Inspectors uncovered a staggering 120,000 defects, with over 170,000 kilometers of dangerously wired cable weaving through the infrastructure. Lights flickered, refusing to obey commands, while others stubbornly stayed lit, oblivious to the chaos around them. For over 9 agonizing years, a revolving door of high-paid executives grappled with the Herculean task of fixing the mess. But just as the finish line appeared within reach, fate dealt a cruel blow in the form of a global pandemic, grounding the aviation industry to a standstill. Yet, against all odds, the day finally arrived. After almost a decade of delays and despair, Berlin-Brandenburg Airport opened its gates to the world. But with air travel in turmoil and uncertainty looming large, the triumphant moment felt bittersweet. Number 1. Sydney Opera House. First and the last, the Sydney Opera House. But behind its stunning sails and grandeur lies a tale of budgetary woes and unforeseen challenges. The Sydney Opera House isn't just a masterpiece of architecture. It's a bustling cultural hub that hosts a diverse range of performances, from ballet to contemporary dance, and, of course, breathtaking opera productions. However, its journey to completion was far from smooth sailing. One of the primary reasons for the initial failure of the Sydney Opera House project was the lack of a defined project budget. With no finalized design in place, the project commenced without a clear understanding of its financial scope. This lack of clarity proved to be a costly mistake. Almost immediately after construction began, costs began to skyrocket. Change orders and unforeseen challenges such as incorrect site surveys led to further budget overruns. What was initially envisioned as a grand architectural endeavor turned into a financial nightmare. All of these major errors in the construction let us learn one thing, which is to be cautious from the beginning of the plan. Thanks for watching, and for such top listing videos, subscribe to our channel.